that's the reason right there that mainly they was wanting the door panels recovered. I want to thank everybody for joining in, even though nobody's joined in yet. We got a split right there. You see where it come out from under. You can look at it and tell where it come out from under right here over the door panel. These ain't that, I mean, they're kind of plain. You can look at them and tell they're kind of plain, but they do have the embossed right here. See that? So that was stamped in from the factory. Oh, the backside don't look horrible. Not really horrible. Oh, we got 3 people in here. Maybe it'll come on up. We did wipe these off. They've been, some guy had them in his body shop for a long time. All right. Being it's already kind of later in the day. Let's see if I can straighten this up. There we go. All right. I don't know if any of y'all's got a 4Runner, but if you're in business, you might wind up having to do some of these door panels. So, and I've done some of these before, and this part right up here, is made on to the door panel. If you look, it's like they heat seamed it on there with glue or whatever. That is real thin. Right, that vinyl is, it ain't expanded at all. You can look, it ain't nothing but plastic. It don't have no backing on it, nothing. And it's got to be a perk just right, you know, to go over the edge and make this fit on there. So that's the way it fits, just like this right here. And these pieces right here, if you look, these clips are on this little, that did have a little piece of foam up under it, but we pulled it off. So anyway, you can tell this right here is real thin. So to go over a piece of vinyl, this clip would actually have to be opened up a pretty good bit, and then it might not stay because that's so thin. It's made just for something that big. But I've seen somebody do these before, and I thought it was a pretty good idea the way they done it. So that's the way we're going to do it, and see if we can't make it work that way. All right, so let's get started on this right here. Even if it's not just perfect, we're going to do them anyway. All right. So I got a piece of plastic right here. We're going to foam this. This is going to be my cameraman. I didn't use some of these weights. I got a pretty good sized fan going there. This piece right here, we're going to cut it out. So that lets you know right there. That's the piece that I need to put on here. And I'm gonna take this piece right here. It ain't even gonna be on this panel. If you look right here, I got another, this right here is I'm gonna trace out a panel and transfer it onto that. This right here, this, once I cut that piece right here out, I'll just take some strips and put along here, measure it. I'm just gonna measure it, cut some strips. That way, once I glue them onto the panel, that part will be done. I don't know if you've seen it, but when I first started the video, I showed that this piece right here was broke off. First thing you're gonna want to do is try to save all these clips. We did look online and we found some used ones. We couldn't find no new ones. What were they, Wes? Like $300 or $400 a piece.
I think they're $250.
$250. But they were used and they didn't look good neither.
The cardboard has the same issue. It got wet over time.
Yeah. You see if they get wet, which these right here is in pretty good shape. But if they do get wet, you're gonna have a time. We got to do both of these anyway, so I'm just gonna pull this cover right here off. And we'll do some measuring by the other one. Because we got to make them both. Alright, so there's my whole panel. All I need this car is for to trace out where these holes right here go. And then trace the panel out. This right here ain't nothing but panel board. It's made for cutting out door panels.
Didn't I buy some of these? They're back there on the cart.
You can get some of them with. We did not get these from China Freight. Fortunately, we do have a good traceable board. I think that's a plus. Make sure that you make sure you don't have to go back. After you could miss one of these pretty easy.
Hey, Jane.
All right, so we're right here. I think that's all. We're going to mark this right here. Maybe that panel right there, Wes. What it was is that little corner up there in the front broke off. So we're just going to use this panel right here to make sure that we get the angle just exactly like it was.
Hello, Philip.
There we go. Normally it takes a pretty good pair of scissors to cut this board right here out. I mean, I could cut it out with a saw, but it kind of leaves a jagged edge on it. You can cut it out with a razor blade. You can sharpen them up with a. I know y'all can't see this line on here, but you can sharpen up a pair of scissors real good, and you can cut it out with like some snippers, like what I'm doing here. A razor blade works real good too, but I don't think I got the razor knife.
Not sharp enough to do that.
Yeah.
Those from Harbor Freight ain't gonna do it.
These big, I sharpen these things up. I mean, they're really sharp. You know, this ain't nothing but cardboard.
Now, is there a special name for those cutters or anything?
It's just 10 snips. That's all it is, 10 snips. Once I get this cut apart, I'll go around and try to smooth it out just a little bit. Like I know it's round on this corner right here, so I'll try to round it out just a tad. I think that's pretty close to being it. Where's that rough paper waste? I'll smooth it right here out just a little bit.
The sandpaper's on the back cart back there.
It's pretty smooth.
Hold on. I got some right there. It ain't 36, but it's 80.
Yeah, so this is just 80 grit right here. Got my
You need to, I think it's them two. I think it's them two.
That's
this,
it?
This one's a little bigger. I don't know if that
I think this is good. All we're gonna do is just cut these out where the little push in clips go. If I can see them, I know you can't see them on video, but this one up here, West, I didn't know. I don't know if I didn't mark it or I didn't see it or what. We will go back and get it. There's one goes right in this corner somewhere. I got to find it. And it's got some across the top up here.
punches there, are they a special name, or they use, you know, like leather, or they?
It's just a hole punch. It's just a hole punch. You can pick them up most anywhere.
No, I've seen them at Harbor Freight, and I think I've seen them at Home Depot too.
Yeah, we do call Harbor. We call it China Freight. Whenever when I walk in, I say, "Welcome to China Freight." Before long, I'll have them doing it. The key is have a good board. That piece of plastic right here, it works pretty good.
Now, if they don't have a piece of plastic, can they use a piece of wood up under it?
Oh yeah, we need a bigger one right there, Wes. Get you a good piece of oak. That'll work. You know, I just knew I circled all these. Right here. I think that's the way it went. This is for the window crank right here. Just need a bigger punch for it. And the one I missed down here, I'm going to get in. And right here. Now we need the good razor blade. Sometimes you got to cut that 2 or 3 times to get through it. Especially with these cheapos. Just put you a fine line on there to start with, I guess, and just it kind of helps you hold it in place. We used to make a lot of door panels out of what we call masonite hardboard, and we'll still do it. If we don't have none of this panel board, we'll still make masonite hardboard works good. Always keep them ditches away from the blade when you least expect. And all these right here have to be cut. It looks like they are not like that. About a quarter of an inch in between it looks like. So just like that. All right. And one thing to do whenever you cut something like this out, make sure you take one of these. See, it's supposed to go through the bigger hole and test it just like that to make sure what you're putting in there is going to work. You don't want to go ahead and try to put it all together and all of a sudden you're having to worry about whether it's going to fit or not. Test it along the way as you go.
Yeah, the punches will go through the masonite board too.
Yeah, they will. You just might have to hit them hard. But with the masonite board, you can take a drill and drill it if you had to. It's a harder board than this right here. Where this one right here, if it gets wet, it could possibly warp up. I mean, they're gonna have to put some plastic. We might do it. We might do it for them and just glue some plastic on one side of it to where it'll last. This board right here, if you look at it, it's really, really thin. That's pretty thin, but this right here is masonite hardboard. It's not panel board like this. Vehicles, especially Toyota, is actually made out of some pretty decent stuff. Not so much anymore, but used to. And I'm gonna make a video on that. I got some things that I can compare from the 50s all the way to 2024, and I got several things that has really went down in quality. Even that sewing machine over there, that 206 RB I use, console, thing has went. It ain't, the new ones are not the same sewing machine as the ones like the older ones.
Well, now the new ones are made in a different place, right? One of them's from Japan, and one of them, or maybe it's just a different manufacturing facility.
It's a different country. Yeah. Take your car somewhere, get it fixed, and you call them the next day. Have you got it done? Have you got it done? I did that before I got in that upholstery business. I took my seats to a guy here in Dublin. I had an old 58 Chevrolet truck. I put bucket seats in. Fixed it up a little bit. I thought could have been making it worse, but I thought I was fixing it up. And every day when I'd get out of school, the first thing I'd do is I would go to the telephone and I'd call it. Hey man, I'm just checking to see if you got my seats done. He'd say, nope, I ain't got them done yet. Damn, you must not be working on none of my stuff. After I'm talking about 3 weeks, I was getting like desperate. I was calling. Man, you ain't done my seats? No, I ain't done them. got this much of it right here fixed. All this right here lines up. So now I don't have an embossing machine that will melt it to this panel right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is let me see if I can knock some of that out. Yeah, so what I'm gonna have to do is put some pad up here. I don't want to put none too thick because if I do, then it's gonna be it's not gonna match the back panels and none of that stuff. So what I got a piece right over here. I'm gonna cut a piece of it off, raise the blade. I'll bring it right back. Maybe this is good enough. I don't know. All right, so here we go. Just like that. I'm gonna cut it in strips anyway. So I put this piece right here up there a while ago, so I can have me a pattern of just like what's on that door panel right there. So I'm gonna cut this piece right here out. Probably be a good idea to cut that out as straight as you can. All right. Give me the whole punch real quick. That's just a little line up mark. There you go. And this is kind of like a little line up mark right here too. Put you a dot right here and a dot back here. Actually make that line a whole lot straighter. And the rest of the lines is pretty straight on there. You know, they're just like a straight line. So that's what I'm gonna kind of go with. I just want them to match what was in the vehicle before. It don't have to be a 100% match, as long as it will go with what's on the back panels.
Philip, what are you referring to when you say it will cut it clean? What are you referring to?
Man, you got an idea? I'm open for it. Because I'm going to tell you something. Over the years, if I see something somebody else doing, and it's a good idea, I'll change. For real, I will. And I picked up a whole bunch of stuff just by taking other people's stuff apart. Let me have you back forward with it. The thing is when I do this right here, when you do one and you got another one that you need to do, you need to go on and start drawing it out as you go. If you're doing this for a video, it don't matter because you're just gonna do one. You know, for a video, and then you're probably just gonna chunk it somewhere, throw it away. But if you're doing one some for a customer like I'm doing, and you're doing it for a living, then you need to be figuring out what's the fastest way that I can do this.
No, this foam is not like headliner foam. It's more like closed cell foam.
It is closed cell pad. It's the same thing that a life jacket's made out of. I've had this stuff for so many years.
It's the same thickness as headliner, though, ain't it?
It's 1/8. It's just a 1/8 piece. I don't even know if that's a whole 8, but it you know that rolls down to about that big. It used to be this big. You couldn't even put your arms around it.
But it's closed cell foam.
It's closed cell pad. Yeah. A lot of people would refer to this as a Landau top pad, which is a little bit thicker than this right here. But that's basically what it is. It's just like Landau top pad.
This is not the same as neoprene, right?
No.
It's different.
It's a little bit different. Let me tell you. You don't move that finger. You see that right there? Can you see? Can you see that? You see it? You can't see it.
I can't see it.
Can you see it now?
I mean,
It's flat. That's from years and years and years of cutting a little bit off at a time on your finger. Yeah. Cut a little bit off, a little bit off, a little bit off. And then heal back up and then cut some more off. Before long, you done cut that doggone finger down. I think I've done both of them like that. I think one of the main things, one of the questions that people ask me when they come in here and they see me sewing, is they say, have you ever sewed through your finger? And yes, I have. So far, I think that's cardboard. Anyway, twice. I think I've done maybe the edge of the skin, but that didn't count. But I mean, like through the finger, twice. All right, so we got this much right here done. That's the bottom side. Let's see if I can find my marks. There's one mark. Let me put a little mark on it right there. Right there. And then, want the hole in the front. Right there. Right there. Supposedly, according to my marks that I put on there, oops, there it is, right there, right there. I marked it in the back, and I marked it up here, and then I had the hole right here. So according to that, I got that right. There we go. Landau top pad's a little bit thicker, so I wanted to use something a little bit thinner. I could have used headliner, but it didn't have no value to it at all. And this right here, it's more hard, see. So what it'll do is whenever I stick that piece of vinyl on top of it, when I stick that piece of vinyl on top of it, it'll go down in here to put a more defined line in it. But there's one thing for sure, I want to make doggone sure that these lines right here are straight. Even if I got to take a little bit of it off. I mean, I can measure the other one and take some off the edge. That right there looks like it ain't 100% just right there with it. I'm gonna see if I can't make it right. 80-year-old man walk by this door, he'd say, look at that. That thing's straight. So right in here, this part right in here, I'm thinking it was curved just a little bit at the bottom. Just like that. So that's my first piece right here. I made that a little long where I could cut it off, but that'll be the way it goes in. And the top part right here is got to be brown,
Dark brown.
Yeah.
And then the bottom the tan color.
You can see right here, right above this, right above here, that's got to be a line where it's got to be sewed together. I could piece it together and then put a piece of chrome on it to do the seam and just hide that, and it would look good, but it don't have chrome on the other ones. So I'm gonna take and put a top stitch on that right there and make it really straight to where it looks good. So now this part right here, I'm just gonna take and start piecing some of this stuff around here. It looks like about an inch apart. That right there is an inch. So I'm gonna cut in some lines. It's an inch. Give me a good straight line. This is a little bit harder to use than the Landau top adhesive. I bet they laughing at us over there in China. Because I got these razor blades and they are, you cut through some foam with them just a little bit and then jokers is dull. Paint me with.
They usually have one or two good cuts and then they're done.
Yeah. They're not good. 1 or 2 good cuts. I'll look at that brown. Okay, we're gonna take this, just put some on as we go. like that window top part, like the bottom of this.
Yeah, them razor blades probably come over the cheapest way they could ship them.
Yeah. Sounds great. Definitely sounds great. Like, some of that stuff ain't too bad. But some of it is pretty rough. Just like we take a strap on.
He bought some razor blades from a company in California. I don't know where they were getting them. They were dull right out the pack.
Woo!
I mean, they were useless.
She got me this.
Like I say, I don't know where they were getting them from. I'm sure it's some third world country somewhere, but they were dull.
They were dull.
Straight out the pack.
Yeah, they got me good. I'm thinking this piece right here, Weston. I'm thinking this piece right here was like, it went all the way up to here. You know what I'm talking about? Like the pad went all the way up.
Yeah, because it's got to have a piece that folds over. It's got to have some pad.
But it can't be too long, you know. So this piece that folds over needs to be not glued to the vinyl. Hello. Hello. She calls when she won't speak. Hello. Yeah. Hello. If I can't hear you, then it don't count. Mm-hmm. Well, that seems like we're going to check them out. I get this to go with it. Video. Yeah. Hey, we're doing a live video. Go back. So just take the cut these right here out. That's your door handle. You're gonna need all them pieces cut out. We're just making them close to what they once looked like. We don't have, like I said, we don't have the emboss that goes in there, so we've just got to figure it out as we go. This is the piece that I cut this piece out of right here. So I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to make me another one just like it. And I'll use it on the other door panel. All I got to do is come right in here and add a little piece at the bottom. Can you see it, Wes?
Yeah.
Okay, so all I got to do is come right in here, add a little piece, and glue this piece right here on. But this part right here, from here over, it's just going to have a piece of pad on it to go over the top of the door. And we're going to make this seam right here just as wide as this one right here. I could put a piece in the middle and make it thinner, but I'm not going to do all that. All I'm going to do is just put a piece like this on it and just emboss it kind of like in a bigger way. Just down here, I'm going to put a piece over this so these buttons right here are not seamed.
Philip, without seeing the link, what you're describing, I think is correct. With the snips, they're kind of smoother, but they're more heavy duty than scissors.
Yeah, they are. All they are is like 10 snips. Okay, so I'm figure about an inch right there. That piece right here, probably, I'm going to say 7 inches. If this was a laying down top pad, it would be hard. This right here is kind of rubber. I mean, it moves real easy. It's easier to make a mistake with this right here. I probably should have used the Landau adhesive, the Landau pad. But at the top, when it rolled over here, you can look at this right here and tell that stuff right there is that. I mean, it's paper thin. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna walk over here and cut me out a piece just like it, so I just have it for the other door. Okay, so that's on the other door. And that can be left long like this. Let's just gonna flap over. Okay. All right, we made that one an inch. So we're gonna come right here, and I'm gonna make that one. Make that one an inch. It would be better to it would be better if you had something that was lighter that you can see it better on this black panel.
A silver.
Yeah. Where do we have silver?
You got a paint marker, but you don't have a. They don't have.
They make silver sharp stuff.
Yeah, they make them. We had one at one time, but the last one I knew we had was we used the paint marker.
Fortunately, I can still see that line up under there. Right here. With this closed cell foam like this, if I put it over that, it takes a long time for it to dry. So, I mean, unfortunately, I got to wait just a minute before I stick it. Where's my blower at, West? I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit.
It ain't up under that right there where you at? Maybe on the car.
Probably. Fortunately, this will speed it up a little bit. It don't have to be hot air. I better get it just right up here first. Once it sticks, it's kind of like, it don't give you a whole lot of extra time to stick it. So I'm looking at it real closely to make sure I get an inch or very, very close to the inch apart. Hold on. Hey, it does not like to play with others. Very good. Okay. We're trying to keep this plastic on the table right here, just so we can make it we got some different plastic on there and bite out of it, so we're trying to make this plastic right here last longer by putting this thin plastic on top of it. throw that away. I want to take this piece. I want to put it right there. Then I can come right in here. Just grind it a little bit. Just like that. Alright. And right in here, I wanted to put a piece over these, so they might be seen. So 2 3/4. I can pretty much cut that as good with the scissors as I can with the razor blade. There you go. You didn't like that, did you? You don't like that noise.
Jane, it has cooled off today a lot, but it's raining most of the day too.
Yeah.
I'll take any break in the hot weather we can get, because it has been brutal here lately.
I wish I could do like that in high stay in all the time when it's hot. It's if you got 60 degrees in it's hot. I will try to get that a little bit straight. What did I say, about a ½ inch?
Yeah, we needed the rain. It was really dry around here.
See there what happens? I'm just going to come right along the edge. Trim this right here off. Okay.
Billy Joe wants to remind you that the rocking chair needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if you can make a video out of that.
I really appreciate it. I really appreciate her reminding me that. I really appreciate that. So, 1.5 inches from the top. Basically on that hole. Well, I could come from the bottom and measure up. 13. I think I'd rather do it that way. Oh, you know that line right here is straight. That's just the fine difference between that and that. Yeah, got to cut a strip right here and a strip down here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this right here. I don't want to get no glue on this up here. It's going to be, that's got to be rolled over, and it wasn't glued before. And I don't know exactly where all that's got to be cut off. I'm gonna show you how to put this piece right here on there. There's this. These scissors. If we make it 7 inches long, what's that, 54 inches? You can't never, I know they got a machine to cut that off with at the supplier, but you can't never trust that machine because they could have cut that off a little crooked. So you always want to go and shave it. I'm just cutting the other side to it at the same time I'm cutting this one. It don't have to be this long. I'm just going to squaring up a roll. I ordered a little bit extra just in case they wanted the rear ones done. After they get these back.
Ruler down there. Look,
That's a little bit of the slant that way. That's 28. And that's 13. So that slant is a little bit in front. We're going to make it a little bit longer. We'll just fit that. The edge going up the roll is square. This is just the running yard right here. Where they cut it, it might not be 100%, so it's a little bit wider down here. I really need to give my scissors a good sharpening. I'm just going to sew this right here together and put a top stitch on it. I don't think it looks too good in gray though. That looks good.
You got any bobbins room?
I got some. Got one right now. Measure that panel west and see how long it is. I think that's the whole thing. Okay. Alright, hand me that roll.
And that's just edge to edge.
Yeah.
And you're out of bobbin already.
Damn. Oh no. don't need this much to do it. Ain't that something?
There was a Q-tip up under that.
Oh, I don't know where that comes from. We use these Q-tips for all kind of stuff. That is a lot of dirt. But a paintbrush. We spray dye on them and touch stuff up all the time. We use Q-tip. You can take a spray can, and just hit that right there and just touch the seat and touch up stuff all the time. I'm gonna wind up having to do a deep cleaning on this right here with take it apart. All right, I'm just gonna hold it down, put a top stitch on it. I may have to cut a groove in that material over there on that board. This line right here really needs to be straight. Or somebody else with another trim shop will come in here and say, you could have done that straighter than that, couldn't you? doing this, I want to go ahead and do this other one right here for the other one. Just while I'm at the sewing machine doing it. If I don't take that little piece off of the other door, what it's going to do is it's going to raise this right here up. Just like that. You would be able to see it. That seam would be higher. So we'll take one of these, it don't matter which one. So you see I glued that right there. And that right there is where my seam's going to be. Right on that line. So really what I need to do is come right here. I could take some of this off right here, and I wouldn't have to cut as big a groove. But if I don't take some of this off, I am going to have to cut a little bit wider groove. I should have just sewed it closer, but it ain't no real big deal to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it close to the stitch. Make sure I don't go all the way through. I'll cut just a tad of it off, maybe 1/4 inch. And so all I'm going to do is come right in here where you see I got a line. And when I looked at it, when I measured that other door panel a while ago, it was 13 in the back and it was 12 in the front. So I measured 13 all the way down. So I come right here and I said 13, 13. But when I measured it on this other door panel over here, it wasn't like that. You see how that right here is leaning down? This is wider. That's a little wider right there. And up here, right here, that's 13 up here to this line where I got it sewed. And down here you see it's 12. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here. Here it is right here at the back. It's 13 right here. I'm gonna mark it 13, and I'm gonna come up here in the front, and I'm gonna mark it 12. And this time, it's gonna put our marks pretty close to being what they were to start with. Spam wrist. And that piece is probably, I'm gonna say about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna come right here, go on top of this line, 1/4 of an inch, right here. And I'm gonna cut it again. And we're gonna attempt to take this little strip right here. This little strip right here out. If you got a sander, you might could take that sander and hit it. The post shot, I can hit it. All right. Yeah. We'd have to look at it. The 1980, man, it can be, you know, for us to give a price over the phone like that. It's for what you get in it. It could be anywhere from 5 to 10 grand. On the old Tinsboro Road. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, you might take some pictures of some good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I must have glued it harder up there on this. Okay. It took a little bit wider groove, maybe a 1/2 inch. See this part right here? I don't want it glued to this right here because I don't know how much of that I got to cut off when it goes back into the truck. Just like that, it'll lay down. See how flat that is now? All right. You fold it back halfway. You get your glue gun. You really spray that thing right there good. You want it to go down in that groove right there. right, y'all seen me spray this while ago before I ever sewed. The reason I sprayed this right here real good while I got it was it makes it stick a whole lot better if you put one coat on it and then you go back and you put another coat on it. Sometimes that panel board right there will try to draw it up a little bit. We're going to have a little bit in it. It will absorb it. Just speed up the drying process. Let's do pouring a little bit of glue. Anyway, just regular air will dry about as good as the heat. And if you take it and stick it out in the sun, that's it dry. You stick it to if you don't watch it and you stick it to, if it sticks behind you and you don't realize it, it's hard to straighten it back out. Because when you pull it back up, it can pull your foam up, it can do a whole bunch of crap that you don't want. These right here is just screen door tools to put in a screen door. We use them for stuff like this. And it does. I mean, it will go down in there. So you. Sometimes people use screwdrivers, but I think a screwdriver could possibly damage the material. I want it stuck in that groove right there good, because I want it to lay flat. Like you can't tell that it's got the pad on it. It's got the recesses in it like this right here. What's that? Yeah, that's the wrong shot. Way across the road. Yeah. The pizza looking building. Oh, I'll send Wesley out there. Okay. Okay. Go there and check him out, Wesley. That little wheel right there, that little wheel is a little loose. I'm gonna come back here and hit it with a hammer on the vise, see if I can't tighten that up. Okay, so I did tighten it up. You don't want it wobbly too bad. This one's a little wobbly, but I don't use it as much. This right here really needs to be up next to the edges all the way, because whenever you're pushing that vinyl in, you want it to go all the way into the seam as far as it goes. Just like that. That will flush. If you spray it really thick, it'll like flush on the other side. Make it look kind of funny looking. But this one's almost done. We'll be able to see what it looks like really quick. And then we'll compare it to the original. And you can tell it's a little off. Maybe not as maybe not as the little pin lines that they stamped it in there with, you know. The thing is that if this don't dry really almost done, when it's sealed up in this that don't breathe through, you can't blow through this right here. See? You can't. It won't. You can't blow through that. It's like air won't blow through it. So if air won't blow through it and you close this up and it's not completely dry or pretty close to being dry, that cardboard might dry it out in a little while. But if it's kind of damp or wet and you close it up with this on top of this, it's gonna it's not gonna seal. It's gonna come loose because it's just like it can't dry no more because no air gets to it. If that makes any sense. And you can feel of it. That's a little tacky still. On these hot days that we have, man, that right there dries so quick, you'll be saying, my God, it didn't give me enough time. The reason I'm holding this up is because I don't want it to stick before I roll it in these grooves that I put in here. I want enough slack to where I can just easily push it down in these grooves. Instead of it stretching across it and then you got to push it down. I want to work it down in these grooves like this without having to stretch or pull it. Come on. She's sticking to everything where I've been spraying so much glue. For this part up here, I'm going to leave it a little long because what it does is it folds over that edge, and that's all it does is just fold over. That's the way it was when it come from the factory. You know, I don't want it all over the door panel. All I want to do is just stick it. So I use this blind right here. You can take the glue pipe and just dab around this. You ain't got to spray it like I'm doing. I don't want it to go over into these holes. Because I'm going to have to cut out around them if it does. Okay, that's getting close. If you notice, whenever I took this one right here off, it has staples all through here at the top. The high stressed areas, they had staples. Around the corners, they had staples. It wasn't much of a staple, but I mean, it did have something. You can just cut these holes out, and you don't have to do this to them, but I always do, because if you've seen it from the start, it did have 2 ears on it like this right here that was folded back. You can just leave it alone. You don't have to trim it off. China ever attacks us, and they use these razor blades that they're selling over here. Don't worry. there. I had to sharpen them before they get off your crown with them good. Whenever you cut these corners, there's different ways you can cut these corners. Let me see if you can see it. Yeah. So, I mean, I do them different ways too sometimes. Cut it like this. Cut it like this. Come over here. Cut it right here. Cut it right there. Come here. Pull that right there back. Then you come right here. And you fold that over. Come right here. And I am gonna pop a staple in that right there. Just like that. It takes a staple that's not very much. I got loose ones in here, so it ain't gonna take many. I'm just gonna use them. Get my guy on. I may have to go get one out of the box. You can't use a 1/4 inch. It's got to be an eighth of an inch. Otherwise, it'll show. Okay, that's all I might have had though. This is what I had to get was if you look, you can see that's really thin. Can't use one long. You do. You go through the other side. So you have to use what it calls for. And that's this. it had them in there like that whenever it was taken apart a while ago. Getting hooked up with it.
Well, I got all this, right? You have to look at the pictures and kind of go.
This is on the seams right here where it's cut. Just throw some staples in there like that. Right there. Right here. Even though it's glued, I don't think it would ever come apart. I don't think it would come apart, honestly. Okay, so this right here is left long. We'll stick it next to the original. So that's the original panel right there, the best looking one. So this is the panel that we made for. That's the original. You can see it's not perfect. It's not exactly like the same print, but it resembles the same print. So it's not. It's more of a custom panel. This one did have for some reason, had a door handle back here in the back and one right here. So I never cut the holes. I'm just gonna take a punch a little bit smaller than that hole, and I'm just gonna punch some round holes in it like what it had. This part right here, I mentioned that I was gonna show you how to do that right there. All right, I'm gonna take this piece right here on top of here. There it went just like that. I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna take this piece right here out and I'm gonna mark that hole where that went. This part right here, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna lay it up there on top of that and I'm gonna mark right where it went. But this piece, I seen one done like this. A panel done like this. I seen that a guy took it. Cut this off. This right here is a need to know right here. Especially if you're trying to fix the door panels. Okay. I took one of these doors off one time out here, and they had this piece right here. They put this door panel on. They cut that right there. Once they put it on, they cut that right there at the edge, and then they took and cut some little holes right in here and flipped that over, and just stuck that down on through these little holes on this door panel, and that right there was right up under, and it held that piece right there in, which you can make it a little long and let it go down and glue it on. But he cut these little holes in there. When I pulled that door panel off, all I had to do was pull this right here up, and it looked just like this. It didn't have no vinyl on it or nothing. And that, like this piece right here, see, all it does is just roll down over it. But once you glue this right here down, once you put this piece right here down, all you got to do is go over it with that, and it'll be tight. And then these pieces right here on the corner, all they do is fold under just like that. That's the way they done from the factory. You can look right here. They just got a piece of tape on. All it did was fold over that thin pad. But this pad right here, once you put it on, see, we don't have the truck here. Once you put this right here on, and you stick it just a little bit, then you can come back with a razor and cut it off where it needs to be. Then this piece needs to be a little long, so you go over the top of that piece that you cut off right here. You go over it just like that right there. And this piece right here, you can cut a little slit in it and slide these pieces right here, will go right through it. So that, my friends, is how you do a Toyota door panel. And we'll do the other one right there. We're not gonna pick. We're gonna use the same board on this one because his board ain't broke on this one right here. It don't look real great, but it ain't rotten and it ain't broke. But in a couple of little places, I mean, we can glue that right there back together. It don't have no pieces missing. And we'll measure this one right here. Whenever we put all that stuff on, we'll measure and put it right back just like it is there. So with that being said, we will see y'all next time. And we'll like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and maybe you'll pick up something that we do out here and learn from it. I didn't never have a teacher. I had to learn myself. So maybe you can pick up some stuff and it might help you out, especially if you do upholstery work. Thanks, everybody. See y'all next time.